A mysterious 911 call rings out from a peaceful wooden house on the hill on a late March afternoon. The dispatcher hears only a few strange sounds, then silence. When police rush to the scene, they discover a 55-year-old woman lying dead in a pool of blood, a gunshot wound through her face, blood still clinging to the 9 and 1 keys on the phone. Throughout the house are scattered white envelopes filled with cash, but none of them have been touched. There are no signs of forced entry. It appears the victim opened the door for the killer herself. Who killed Monica Schmeyer, and why did the murderer leave behind thousands of dollars without taking them? Welcome to the Case Files, where we unveil shocking cases and uncover the truth hidden behind the darkness of crime. Today, we're diving into a case that shocked the peaceful community of Hanover, Pennsylvania. A case where greed, envy, and opportunity collided in the most tragic way. In this episode, we're taking a deep dive into the case, the murder of Monica Schmeyer, a perfect killer's fatal mistake. The story of a single mother preparing to start her life over at age 55, and the perfect killer who made a fatal mistake. From a peaceful town where crime rarely happens, to an intense investigation with seemingly hopeless leads, this case proves that crime can happen anywhere, and justice will always find its way. Background: Hanover, America's snack food capital. In York County, central Pennsylvania, there's a small model American town, Hanover, famous as the snack food capital of the United States, with an area of less than 10 kilometers. Here are concentrated factories of major companies in the snack food industry, like Utz, Snyder's of Hanover, Hanover Foods. Hanover residents live peaceful, slow-paced lives. Crime rarely happens. Murder is almost unimaginable. This is what attracted Monica Schmeyer and her husband, John Schmeyer. Monica Schmeyer's life. From doctor to housewife. Monica and John Schmeyer met at medical school. After falling in love, they married and moved to the Hanover suburbs in 1985 from North New Jersey. They opened an optometry practice. John became a successful optometrist, while Monica temporarily set aside her career to devote herself to caring for their 2 daughters, Beth and Stephanie. She saw her life as being about her children and husband, becoming an exemplary housewife, completely dedicated to family. When John's career advanced, they built their dream home on top of a secluded hill in West Manheim Township, York County. The house was made of wood and stone, located on nearly 1 kilometers of land, surrounded by trees. Exactly Monica's vision of ideal life. The marriage falls apart. Everything seemed perfect, but after 5 years of marriage, their relationship began to crack. Monica remained as devoted as ever, while John wanted change and began noticing other women, ultimately requesting divorce. For Monica, a devout Catholic, this was a huge shock. They officially divorced, but for the next 15 years, she always denied that reality. She continued living in the hilltop house, nurturing hope that one day they would reconcile. Starting over at 55. Finally, in 2010, when both children were grown, one abroad, the other moved to another state, Monica decided to sell the house and start over at age 55. She even planned to move closer to her daughter. Monica was no longer living in the past. She was preparing for a new chapter in her life. But that plan would never become reality. March 31, 2010. Mysterious 911 call. Afternoon of March 31, 2010, near 3 p.m., a strange call was transferred to 911 emergency dispatch from a house on Choproot Road in West Manheim Township. The operator only heard a few strange sounds, then silence. Per protocol, they immediately dispatched emergency vehicles to the scene. Officer May Moore was first to arrive. He had encountered many false alarm cases due to children playing with phones or during equipment installation. but sometimes it was also a serious incident. Horrific crime scene. When he arrived, he saw the front door ajar about 30 centimeters. Inside was completely silent. When he entered the living room, he discovered a woman's body lying motionless on the floor. Blood pooled everywhere on the floor, flowing from her face. Next to the body was a phone receiver lying with a cracked case. He also saw a handgun shell casing on the floor and realized this was a shooting murder. Investigator Day Morgan, with many years of experience handling murder cases, was sent to the scene. But even he acknowledged this was a very rare case in such a peaceful, rural, mountainous area. Evidence and leads. Crime scene examination. Small shell casing, most likely .32 caliber, but the gun wasn't found. Preliminary examination showed the bullet entered from under the left jaw to the right cheek. There was bruising around the eye. Likely the victim was impacted when shot. This indicated there was a struggle before she died. On the 9 and 1 keys of the phone were blood traces. It appeared Monica tried to call for help when shot. Police found a wallet and identification documents, from which they identified the victim as Monica Schmeyer, 55 years old, homeowner. Mysterious white envelopes. There were no signs of forced entry or prying. Windows intact. Front door not forced. It seemed Monica had opened the door for the killer herself. One strange thing was that there were many white envelopes containing money in the house, each about $40, $60, scattered in the kitchen and living room. In total, there were thousands of dollars untouched. Police weren't sure if this was a botched robbery or murder for hire. Investigating relatives. Ex-husband, first suspect. Data showed Monica previously lived with her husband, optometrist John Schmeyer, now retired, living just 16 kilometers away. Many attacks on women are committed by relatives, especially ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends. John had financial motive. Monica still received monthly alimony of $1,700 from him, and they had strange arrangements about money. She didn't trust banks, had no bank account, received cash from John, then divided it into many envelopes according to spending needs. When bills needed paying, she gave envelopes to John so he could write checks. This was the reason why there were many white envelopes in the house. But John said he felt uncomfortable with that situation and just wanted to end it after 4 more years when the alimony contract expired. Alibi evidence. When asked where he was at 3:00 p.m. that day, when Monica was killed, John stated he went to lunch with girlfriend Molly Red, then met friends at Hooters restaurant on Route 30. They were an upper-middle-class, wealthy group who gathered on weekends, calling themselves the Orange Shorts Society, named after the color of shorts Hooters waitresses wear. After checking clothes, no gunshot residue was found on John's hands or body. Security cameras at the restaurant recorded images of John and Molly as stated, proving he wasn't the killer. The mysterious man. Neighbor's statement. But then, a call from neighbor Curtis Billing changed the investigation. Curtis said he saw a strange man coming from Monica's house's direction right at the time of the incident. This person was a white male, bald, about 1.70 meters tall, walking quickly toward a silver pickup truck parked on the hillside. Another neighbor named Seth, or William Kigaraisi according to records, also saw this person. Notably, Seth clearly remembered the man was holding a white envelope, exactly like what was found in Monica's house. Tracking the truck. Police decided to review all footage from security cameras at stores along roads leading to Monica's house. When reviewing, they couldn't believe their eyes. A silver truck appeared about 20 minutes before the murder occurred, around 2:38 p.m., then appeared again about 23 minutes later, 2:59 p.m. The truck appeared again at 3:56 p.m. and 4:57 p.m. However, the camera mainly filmed customers entering and leaving the bank, so didn't capture the license plate or other identifying marks. Investigator Lisa Layden. New perspective. 3 days after the case, investigator Lisa Layden officially joined the investigation. Though she had 6 years' experience with murder cases, this case immediately made her uneasy. She saw no clear suspect or specific motive. Layden decided to investigate who would benefit financially from Monica's death. She collected all divorce records, property documents, wills, and asset division. Monica had assets over $1 million, and as expected, John wasn't left a penny. All assets went to the 2 daughters, Beth and Stephanie. Ruling out suspects. Layden questioned the 2 daughters, wanting to ensure they weren't involved. Beth was traveling in Japan, while Stephanie lived in Florida. Both were thousands of miles from the scene, so were ruled out as suspects. Police also checked Jeremy Bergeron, the handyman who had worked for Monica for 10 years. He stated that day he was working at a construction site 40 minutes from Monica's house. Camera records from his workplace and lie detector results confirmed Jeremy was telling the truth. Jeremy was ruled out as suspect. The investigation hit another dead end. Many weeks passed, then months, with no new leads. Timothy Jacoby, the perfect killer. Overlooked detail. Investigator Damon, or Douglas DeMangane, decided to review all investigation notes. On page 10 or 11 in the notebook, he stopped. He remembered Molly Redd's statement, John's girlfriend, that almost everyone in the Orange Shorts Society group was at the restaurant that day, except her fiancé, Timothy Jacoby. Strangely, no one had ever questioned Tim. Suspicious record. Timothy Matthew Jacoby, 45 years old, according to some sources 39 at time of arrest, was educated, had a fiancé, and appeared respectable. But when Damon checked his record, he discovered Tim had pleaded guilty in a jewelry store robbery in York County in 2006 and received a 5-year suspended sentence. By law, Tim wasn't allowed to own firearms, yet he had a Kel-Tec automatic .32 caliber gun, exactly the type used to kill Monica. Matching witness description. Damon compared Tim's image with descriptions from witnesses like Curtis Billing and Seth. Build, bald head, height all matched. They quietly investigated information from Tim's workplace, a flooring company, Armstrong World Industries. There they discovered Tim had access to a silver pickup truck, exactly like the truck appearing in camera footage the day of the incident. More suspicious, the calendar sheet recording vehicle rentals for March had been torn out. Motive: greed and envy. His motive was greed and envy. When attending gatherings of the wealthy group, Tim saw the lifestyle he craved: money, freedom, luxury. John had complained about having to pay cash alimony to his ex-wife and told everyone Monica had lots of cash at home. Tim thought this was the perfect opportunity to commit crime. He didn't accept being an ordinary person with mundane work, meager salary, and dull life. During gatherings, he clearly saw social stratification. Arrest and trial. July 2011, the search. Police had enough evidence to request a search warrant. July 2011, 1 year, 4 months after Monica was killed, police came to Tim's house with a search warrant. He showed no surprise or asked why, just silently smiled. Nothing was found in the house, but in the garage, police found a worn barrel of the same .32 caliber. They also found ammunition boxes and another stolen gun. Tim was arrested on the spot. Evidence from the farm. Next, police went to Tim's family farm, where Molly said Tim often practiced shooting. There they found another damaged gun barrel and 4 .32 shell casings lying between wood cracks on the shooting platform. Though they didn't find the complete gun, forensic experts confirmed the shell casing found at the scene matched shell casings at Tim's family farm. That was key evidence. One investigator said, "The gun that fired the shot that killed Monica Schmeyer is the same gun that fired those rounds we found at the farm." Additionally, DNA sample under Monica's fingernails also matched Tim's DNA, proving there was a struggle between them. Death sentence. Timothy Jacoby was charged with first-degree murder, robbery, burglary, and evidence tampering. He didn't plead guilty, refused to answer questions, and didn't testify in court. On October 9, 2014, after 2 hours of deliberation, the jury declared Timothy Jacoby guilty on all counts. He received the death penalty plus many years in prison for robbery, theft, and evidence destruction. Current status. Execution postponed. In February 2019, Pennsylvania Secretary of Corrections John Wetzel signed notice of execution for Jacoby, with the date set for March 8, 2019. However, execution hasn't occurred because Jacoby's lawyers filed for postponement. More importantly, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf imposed a moratorium on all death penalty executions, describing the death penalty system as riddled with flaws, error-prone, expensive, and unable to be perfect. Pennsylvania hasn't executed anyone since 1999. Timothy Jacoby is currently imprisoned at State Correctional Institution. Green, awaiting final decision. Conclusion. Lessons from the case. The murder case of Monica Schmeyer is clear proof that greed and envy can turn an ordinary person into a killer. Monica Schmeyer, a 55-year-old mother preparing to start a new chapter of her life, had her life stolen simply for being in the right place at the right time with something someone else coveted. Timothy Jacoby, a man with a respectable appearance, planned to rob money from a woman he'd never met just because he heard her ex-husband complain about paying alimony. But thanks to the persistence of investigators like Lisa Layden, Douglas DeMangone, along with brave witnesses and forensic technology, justice was finally served. Monica's legacy. Monica Schmeyer represents women killed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Her case reminds us that crime can happen anywhere, even in the most peaceful places. Monica's story also shows the importance of paying attention to the smallest details in investigation. A torn calendar page, a truck appearing on camera, neighbor testimony, all pieced together to form the complete picture to catch the killer. The Monica Schmeyer case warns us about the danger of greed. Timothy Jacoby wasn't a cold-blooded born killer, but an ordinary man who let envy and desire for a wealthy life lead him to crime. In an increasingly stratified society, where the wealth gap grows larger, this story reminds us of the importance of moral values and conscience. If you've watched this far, please subscribe to the Case Files channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment with your thoughts about this case. Share this video so more people know Monica's story, so she won't be forgotten, and so justice is always remembered. Every share is a time we remember the victims and encourage investigators who are constantly fighting for justice. Especially, always be vigilant and protect yourself. Never let strangers into your home when you're alone. Trust your instincts and be careful with people who are too interested in your personal finances. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode of the Case Files.